Hello friends! Today's a bit of a different video. Wait with me 1 second, it's a collab, so if you don't want to watch my video, totally get it, but please check out my collab partners. There's Fairykin and Jackyohhh, and they both make incredible dolls generally, but especially these dolls were really, really beautiful. I'll put stamps for when I have the photos of the actual doll, but today we have a story time instead of a repaint. If you're interested, grab a beverage and let's get into it. It's Tito's wish. Fairykin slid into my DMs months ago and they asked if I was interested in doing a fine art collab. This is something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and so instantly I said yes. A lot of things have gone on over the past few months for me, so I put off making any progress on the doll until a couple of weeks ago. And I was really struggling with motivation. I'm not sure if it's a mental health thing. I've talked about my mental health before. I've been struggling to keep up with my medication, and I think part of it is because I have ADHD as well as whatever else is going on. I'm no longer medicated for it. And I spoke to my doctor and she was like, we only medicate in the UK for like when it's really serious, and I'm like, oh okay, it's clearly not that bad for me. I've really been struggling with my memory and focus, and I don't know if that's the depression, because I know that can cause that, or if that's just a combination of everything. I had a lot go on recently. I've moved 4 times in 4 months. Like, it's been a lot, and like I can only really blame myself for the things that happened with this doll, but it's just so many little things that become big things in this situation, and all in one project. Like, it's cursed. It's a cursed project. So I was really struggling with the motivation, but my collab partners were so good. They were really, really supportive and helped by giving me like words of encouragement when I needed them, and never did I have to ask for them. They just always were very, very supportive. So I finally started working on the doll, and it was a struggle. It was like, Jackyohhh said it yesterday, and I think she's right. I was probably verging on burnout when I started doing the doll, and at this point I'm probably pretty burned out, so it might be time for a break again. I know I've only just had a break. I don't know whether it was because I was intimidated by the project or if it was something new, but that will tend to make me not want to start a project or to shelve a project. And there were points with this project that if it was anything else, if there wasn't a deadline, she would have been shelved for months and just forgotten about. So I decided that I wanted to shrink her head. In the painting she's got normal proportions, you know, and Monster High proportions I didn't think would quite fit that. I did a slow shrink on her head. I watched Darilli Dolls tutorials. Brilliant, really informative, and like all the information you need. Talked about rerouting with it. I did do a full reroute on her, which I didn't think was possible, and I got footage of the reroute. Like, I don't get footage of the clothes usually. I did the whole thing. I filmed. I don't get footage of the reroute usually. I did the whole thing. So what happens, I have multiple SD cards of between like 16 and 32 gigs. I don't have any bigger than that. Obviously that fills up quite quickly when you film like I do, because I just film everything and then I cut it down later. So I have to swap out memory cards. ADHD foreshadowing. I forget very easily where I've put things, or like things that I need to do, and I get very distracted. So the first lot of footage, I took the card out of my camera, immediately uploaded it to my computer, so it was safe in my computer, or was it? Foreshadowing. Then the second lot of filming I did while I was on live stream, so I have my camera above my desk and a camera to the side, but obviously I don't want to be uploading footage while I'm on live stream. So I took the SD card out of my camera and put it on the desk, and in the live stream, because I watched the live stream back to see what I'd done with the memory card, it's just sat there on the desk and then it's gone. And then it's gone. I remember the next day I think that I needed to transfer all the files, and I just could not for the life of me find this SD card anywhere. I tore this room apart 3 times. 3 times. The whole house. I went through the bin. I looked in the fridge, like, you know, all the weird places that you put stuff when you're not quite listening to your brain. What? Listening? Thinking. was gone. It was just gone. And I've had this happen before. When I made Sexy Colonel Sanders, I lost all the photos. I lost the whole card of the photos, and it turns up months later. So I'm sure that'll happen with this in months. It's fine. But so I've lost this whole SD card of footage. Hang on, there's a cat. Ugh. So I've lost this whole SD card of footage, but it's okay, I've transferred all the other files already, right? So I've got that, I've got the rest that I'll be filming later, so not worried. I just went in to check in the file for this doll. It's empty. So that first SD card of footage that I transferred is gone. It's just gone. I have no memory of it going. I remember changing the file names. I was watching 60 Minutes Australia when I was doing it. It's just gone. So now I have 2 full SD cards of footage gone. This hit my motivation quite obviously. I make videos of every single one of my dolls, and to not have a video for my doll feels kind of pointless, but I'm like, look, it's a collab, you love these humans, the idea was great, you're struggling, but that's not the doll's fault, do you know what I mean? So I was like, I'll push through a bit more. It's tea. Sip of tea. So I filmed the rest of the doll, get her done. I think she looks really good, to be fair. I am proud of her. The face up was quite difficult. I've started doing smaller eyes recently, which I think look wonderful, but then on a shrunken head that's just so tiny. And I was really struggling with shaking. I have that injury on my right hand and it has been quite bad recently, but also I think the cold doesn't help. But I managed to get her done, and then I had to do the background because in the props, like the Lady of Shalott, she's fine on her own, and there is that painting of the Lady of Shalott looking at Sir Lancelot, but she's not very like recognisably the Lady of Shalott. She's kind of like a medieval princess looking like this, I think. So I knew that I really wanted to make all the props. So it was quite a lot of tough motivation with, and that took a day and a half, I think, to do as well. And it was finally done. I took the photos, I showed my collab partners, and they were like, oh my god, that's going to be such a good photo. I'm like, yo, I'm done, I'm so done. Like, it was really hard to do. It was just like pushing all the time, like really pushing through like burnout, and if you've done it, you understand, but it's like running through treacle, do you know what I mean? And I think if I hadn't had other people, like, and a deadline, she would have been shelved. So yesterday was edit day. I always give myself 4 days to edit a video. It's basically kind of what it takes for me to do that. And when I bought my computer, I needed basically the cheapest computer that had the most power that I could get. And so I was living in Japan. Japanese computers are insanely expensive, like you wouldn't believe, and they're not high spec. Like a really basic laptop will run you about $1,000, like insane prices. So I was looking on Amazon.com and I found an absolute steal. It has 8th gen i5 processor, 8 gig of RAM, but a tiny hard drive. So it was like $400. It was nothing. During this project I cracked my screen as well, and I was looking at replacing it, and you just can't buy that for that kind of money. I don't know why it was so cheap. Jackyohhh was like, it was lucky you got it on sale, and I was like, but it wasn't on sale, that was just the price. Like, it went up $20 before I could even buy it, you know, like that was just the price on Amazon. I've got my feet on a box and it just fell. Cracked the screen, replaced the screen myself, got footage of me replacing the screen, everything. It's gone. Yeah, so yesterday was edit day. Still really so because this has got a tiny hard drive, and one doll, depending on like how involved it is and how much footage I've got, will be between like 40 and 80 gigs. I think the smallest doll I've ever done was 20 gigs, and that was probably Frankie, and it wasn't a very involved doll. So my hard drive is basically full. What I tend to do is edit in chunks, so I'll do the whole face up. I edit out picking up pencils and just kind of like refine it, and anything that's really not usable I'll chop it out. And the face up that I filmed this time was completely in focus and all in frame. It wasn't, it was all out of focus. I didn't know the minimum focus distance for the lens that I'm using, and I was way too close, so it was all out of focus anyway. I edited the face up. I did the rough cut of the entire thing. It took 6 hours to export on Filmora. I put it on my Instagram stories. Like, the estimate was just jumping back and forward, and it was just taking forever, and I can't use my computer while it's exporting at all, otherwise it just won't export. Filmora has some quirks. But then once that edit's done, I don't need the raw footage anymore, right? I'll just delete that. So once I've edited the face up, I'll delete the face up raw footage. And if it's smallish files, they'll go into your recycle bin. So I was doing the rough cut of the background. I know I wanted like a real fast, like minute or two of footage, just doing a time lapse. So I've done that edit, go in to delete all the raw footage. Highlight, click delete. Files are too big, do you want to permanently delete them? Of course I do, that's fine, I don't need them anymore. And then I popped back to Filmora. I was gonna smash them all together. I only have the background. I only have footage for the background. The rough cut, the face up are gone. I deleted them permanently. Gone. The Lady of Shalott is cursed. She leaves her tower, she's cursed. If you represent her, she is also cursed. Is this just me? Was this just a curse to me, or has this happened to other people? Like, I genuinely want to know. Like, I know in the film Poltergeist, like, that was a cursed project, right? Is that the same with the Lady of Shalott? So, I'm sorry that I don't have a repaint this week. Honestly, I am as disappointed as you are, if not more. But I have a dog. She's looking at me like really like... I need to have a bit of time before I pop back to dolls. I also need a better system for storing and transferring files. So, I mean, let me know if you have an idea. I think what I'm going to do is try and use bigger SD cards so that I have like a holder, and then I can lose all of it and back things up a lot more. This isn't the first time I've lost footage as well. Like, it's happened quite a few times. I'm going to pop you over to the doll photos. So thanks for hanging out with me for a story time. I know it's not the usual thing, and yeah, I genuinely understand if you dislike this video or like there's unsubs from this. I was like really hoping that this was going to kind of give me a little bit of boost, but I don't know anymore. For Christmas. I haven't been knitting, maybe that's my problem. I do have projects to do. Bye. Whatever. For acrylic tea on my top.